Are we supposed to say something?
I don't think so.
Yeah, because that would require you to be more useful than Celestia, and she would never allow anybody other than Twilight to be more useful than she is, and I probably should not think loud. I'll be honest, with each and every teaser and a bit of a news, I was hyped and worried about this premiere at the same time. All of them suggesting that this might not be a two-parter, potential Starlight departure, and not a typical life or death conflict. This was a big risk, but like they say, no risk, no reward. And did this opener receive it? Oh yes, it did. However, it's also hard to review it in a typical way, since those are two separate episodes, with a bit of a continuity between them. That's why so far I've been deliberately calling this an opener instead of an episode. In that matter, I'll cover both of them separately. And starting with Celestial Advice, oh my god, yes. Not only I call it that Celestia set up all of those things in debut episode, but this here is probably closest we could get for her episode. For now. Anyway, that one burst of love was already more characterization than we get for her in 6 past seasons, and thanks the stars it didn't stop there. The whole backstory, how she was at the same spot as Twilight, struggling with sending her away, looking for the reasons not to do so. Suddenly she doesn't feel like a goddess, but more like any normal pony, more natural. Not only that, but you can also feel all of those emotions. That is a great character development. Bravo show, better late than never. In a way, this feels like a holy grail for all Celestia fans around, yet it still doesn't fix all the problems with her character, mainly her being either a punching bag or just useless or powerless. Ever since first episode, she was presented as a goddess without weakness, fears or struggles. Don't get me wrong, I'm really glad for this little scene, pretty much this is a highlight of this episode, yet it might also be a sign that maybe we've put her at too high of a pedestal with that whole godhood status, but honestly, I'm perfectly fine with that. I mean, come on, what fun is it in perfection? If really nothing could move a character, for me that's a boring character. But things like this, freaking over something small yet big at the same time, makes a believable character. And if one scene can do so much for Celestia, think what full episode could do for her. Gladly, this is not the only good part of the episode. In fact, I actually can't find anything bad in it. Sure, some people are having a problem with that ending, which I agree that it feels cheap, but also it's fine. One of my fears was that this episode could mean Starlight will be gone, while also it's too early for her to end her friendship lessons. But Discord made me think that maybe she actually is beyond basic friendship lessons. However, I still think that her studies are not finished. This ending is a nice compromise. She's still staying in the castle with Twilight, while also learning about friendship on her own. Heck, even the opening shows how much more confident character she is now, which is why I don't have a problem with this ending. And speaking of Discord, initially he irritated me, but now I'm okay. Why shouldn't I? Pretty much he is his usual self. A trickster toying with Twilight to set her on the right path. Okay, maybe he was messing around after that, spoiling the improvised surprise. But hey, he's really not out of character. Besides, he kinda received his punishment in form of disappointment. Twilight, on the other hand, is pretty stable in my eyes. Yes, she might have made a little step back to her lesson 0 self, but come on, she's a master of freakouts. Besides, how many of you would be like her in situation like this? Heck, even Celestia was like this. Besides, I much more prefer that instead of how she was in No Second Princess. I'm also glad that the new changelings are getting along with ponies, yet they are not automatically good and are still working to kill their old habits. Same with Thorax, who admitted he is struggling with his new role. Thank you. Pretty much any negativity I can tell are only a small nitpicks in my eyes. I have to say it, this is pretty much a flawless episode. Easy candidate to be one of the best of this season, but maybe let's not jump the gun now because we've barely got 2 episodes. Speaking of which, I need to change the setup to some place more fitting to another episode, which surprisingly made people appreciate Starlight more than before, just like many will appreciate Celestia more after previous one, but it's not a big surprise. She's a really relatable character here. Pretty much this one is also a really strong episode, yet not as strong as previous. My biggest problem is Trixie. Truly, I've started to like her after season 6 finale, but after this one, she is back to where she started. From the very beginning, she was acting so clueless. Okay, I get it, she was impressed by all those new magic abilities she learned, which fits her character, to brag about it without caring about her surroundings. But for the love of the moment she brought up Starlight's past, all was missing there was Trixie saying no offense. And don't even try to say that she had no idea this is a sensitive topic, because she had. Pretty much in both No Second Princess and season finale, Starlight said this is not something she's proud of. Whole problem is that Trixie was joking about like it was nothing, like the fact that she almost destroyed time and space is not sensitive for Starlight, and also treated it as an easy solution. Hey Trixie, how about you use the Alicorn amulet to fix this whole mess you made today? Oh, sorry. No offense. See what I mean? Out of all the ponies, Trixie knows best how it is to have some past that you are not proud of and don't like to bring that up. And yet she did that to her best friend? Nice going. Pretty much the whole episode I was like, shut up Trixie, shut up Trixie, shut up Trixie, when she was dragging Starlight around the town, following her cravings, not even caring that her friend doesn't look good, at least until the bottle broke. Which brings me to my second problem. Fandom reception. I feel like there are people who once again will complain about Starlight mind controlling other ponies. No she doesn't. First, she never had control over those ponies. Second, the spell was not made to control other ponies, but to bottle up emotions. And when the bottle broke, the emotions just possessed ponies who were too close. Third, no harm were done, maybe except the nut card. No magic hangover or even headache, no hard feelings because it was an accident. Yet this also brings up important moral: bottling up your emotions. I've always said that it's never healthy to do so, because at some point all it's needed is one spark to make them all explode like a powerful bomb. This episode, however, is also a great allegory of that process. Starlight had been gathering all the emotions in the bottle, and when it broke, all of it just burst with increased strength. All the negativity gathered during the day attacked all at once. Pretty much most of us had this situation when we were bottling up our emotions more and more. In this case, the outcome of the burst was rather harmless, but not always people will be so understanding and forgive so easily. Thing is, such moral feels more like it leans toward adults more than children. I am aware that both demographics tend to bottle up their emotions, but maybe the first one a little bit more often. Probably last thing in this episode worth talking about is the main six, or rather the fact that it's nice to see them working together, solving all those puzzles in escape room, but if you ask me, if those scenes would be removed, in my opinion it wouldn't change much in the episode. And there's also the song. By itself it's pretty nice, have some nice beats, but it's true that its placement was really poor. On the other hand, that was the point of this whole self-aware joke, that the show tend to put song in not the best moment of the episode. That was actually one of the funniest moments in this premiere. But despite the problems I've mentioned, I still consider this episode as a win, simply because of how much more mature this premiere is, how reliable Starlight is, and simply how enjoyable this episode is. I've once said that the Crystal Link is not as bad as people are saying. However, this premiere is a lot better. I think the main selling point of them is not only a great development for Starlight and Celestia, but also how much more mature the morals are. Children can still understand it, but pretty much adults can relate to them even more. What I also like is how the episode kept the nice balance between seriousness and comedy. The morals moved me, but the humor made me laugh here and there. Favorite instances are self-awareness and Antler's problem. Oh, and Spike was great in both. Snarky yet helpful voice of reason, aware of his surroundings and to avoid being hurt. The change of formula is another thing for which we will remember this premiere. Two separated slice of life episodes, without any life or death conflict. Before I was worried, but after I absolutely love it. That little bit of the new changelings and Thorax, Celestia's backstory, Starlight staying and keep learning about friendship, and a few smaller wishes I've never mentioned. It's just 2 episodes and already so many of them are fulfilled. If this premiere is the indicator how good the rest of this season might be, then oh boy, season 7 is going to be very strong. I'm Sharpwit and check out my new pet. Onward, my mighty stone minion! Hey, a little update. Neon Blade received some unexpected help from his family, which means his GoFundMe is closed. However, another friend of mine, Astro, is also in need. In a nutshell, his situation is the same as Keyframe's. In order to escape from his abusive home and finally feel free, he set a GoFundMe page so he could travel to USA. Which is why my goals from Neon's fundraise are now shifted towards Astro. So if you still want me to do something silly or painful, or just willing to show support, in the description you will find links to Astro's GoFundMe. Thanks for your attention.